Good morning, everybody. This is our astrology weather forecast for the 13th of January, 2025. And we have mostly Venus, Mars, Jupiter stuff going on today. So, Moon is in Leo today, is already in the sign of Leo, which does foster creativity, emotional expression, romance. This is the fun moon. When the moon is in fire signs, we are less introspective and more concerned with getting caught up in the moment or in our feelings. The moon in Leo is a romance enhancing influence. And that is going to add to the layers that we have going on. Venus is square to Jupiter and also sesquiquadrate to Mars. It's a hard aspect between Venus and Mars. And so this brings up the archetypal masculine, feminine battle of the sexes, the tension that is naturally there between Venus and Mars because they are opposite to each other. They're a natural check on each other in a balance. We have friction coming in that doesn't have to be negative. Excuse me. Because that polarity between Venus and Mars creates attraction. It creates, it's a dance. And when we have a sesquiquadrate, we're looking at how can we dance in a way where we get in tune with each other. We can step on each other's toes or get out of alignment with each other, get out of step. We lose our rhythm. With these hard aspects, we have a chance to look at how can I get my feet back in place, or how can I get back into the rhythm of the dance. And with the square from Venus to Jupiter, this increases our appetites, it increases uh, our giving nature. It also increases our self-expression a lot because we have this moon in Leo, and then we have this hard aspect to Mars also. So our passionate appetites, our romantic appetites are very peaked today. It can lead to tension depending on what's going on in your relationship, depending on what's going on with your inner relationship between your own passive and aggressive forces who can feel very on edge because that passion has to have somewhere to go. That tension that arises when we have that sexy conflict between Venus and Mars, however that's arising, that Martian energy, that libido, that creative power has to go somewhere. And if it doesn't, then that's where we experience tension that builds up and then will come out as conflict. So we have to look at how can we use our forgiveness, generosity, willingness to give. That's Venus Jupiter stuff. How can we use that as a springboard to achieving more harmony or getting back in step or coming into some kind of alignment? When it comes to our give and our take, the passive and the aggressive, the Venus Mars, love and romance, all those things. How do we get that in order? It can be disorder. It could go either way for a lot of different people. It's because there's that square to Jupiter. We can overdo, we can overextend, we can overtalk, we can oversay. So it's going to show up differently depending on how out of step you are with yourself or with whatever it is you're trying to come back into alignment or harmony with. How do we rebalance the dance? For some of us, we can like misjudge if we're going on the overboard side of Jupiter. We're like, I'm gonna grab you and prove how much you mean to me. I'm gonna dip you extra deep. And then he dips the woman and then she whacks her head on the ground and like gets a brain injury. That's like the overdo. um, aspect of things. And you're like, oh God, no, I gotta recalibrate. That was not the right move. And then if we do have a better sense of self, or we're not so out of alignment, we're not making such the overt gesture, because we don't have to show up in a limo, we can show up in our regular car. If we aren't overextending, if we aren't like pumping the billows, that's the Jupiter stuff, and getting things to be a little bit embarrassing, then we can have an overture. We can definitely uh send flowers or express ourselves in such a way, but it's not to the degree that the other person ends up having to help us recalibrate, because we've gone so much off the deep end. So um yeah, we don't have to be a superhero. That's the feeling, the combination of these things. I have to be a superhero in order to, recalibrate or balance. We just don't. We don't. The square between Venus and Jupiter in itself just kind of opens up a level of forgiveness or understanding that is, it makes it possible for us to laugh at ourselves and everybody involved. So it'll be a funny day. It will be. Keep your eyes open.